Good evening, all of you. Welcome to this session that we have planned at AMA on the implications of union budget for the international trade, especially exports. Indeed, a pleasure. Of course, AMA, as you all must be knowing, keeps itself busy with some 900 plus annual programs, and some of them happen to be flagship programs that we do every year. One of them is that we started off search last year was how union budget, what are the provisions that they have for the international trade. It has been a good session. A lot of people who are interested in international trade have benefited from this, and we thought this year we should continue. So this is the second of its kind we have been doing, and I really want to thank to our faculty members, CA PK Modi sir and Dr. Nilesh Shuchak sir, for making it happen for all of us. So thank you. I'll of course introduce both the faculty members briefly. What we've tried to do is we will be hearing both of them one after the other. Towards the later part of the session, we'll be asking some questions, some of them which I have. A lot of you might also be having some questions post their remarks, and hopefully in about next one and a half hours, I mean hopefully in next 1 hour 15 minutes, we'll try and wrap up the session. So I start with the introduction of PK Modi sir. He's a chartered accountant and a principal at PK Modi and Company. He has more than 34 plus years of experience in domestic and foreign tax, NRI and FEMA auditing, setting up business, legal advisory, family business, business succession planning, and GST across various businesses, sectors, and organizations. He has a specialization in tax and business advisory and has also focused a lot on international taxation, mergers and acquisitions, foreign investment consulting, and exchange control regulations. He has co-authored a book on fringe benefit tax published by CA Association Ahmedabad and has contributed his journals across various professional bodies. I also have the honor of having Sir's advice in the programs committee at the AMA, and all I can say is that a very calm personality but an extremely thorough gentleman that we have with us. So, sir, thank you so much. I'll do this small honor on behalf of AMA. Uh, we also have with us Dr. Nilesh Suchak sir. He's also a practicing chartered accountant since 1986, and main areas of his practice includes GST, excise, and custom laws. He works at the RJ Tibrewal Commerce College since 1986 and is an associate professor. He's awarded by he's awarded PhD by Gujarat University for his thesis on corporate financial reporting in India and transparency, a futuristic approach in 2002. He's a member of the Indirect Tax Task Force at the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry and has also been a member of Board of Studies in Commerce under Faculty of Commerce at Nirma University. He has delivered lectures on diverse subjects across India, including cities like Bombay, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, and many more. In fact, I must say that Dr. Suchak, I remember at HL when I used to study, we had a couple of faculty members who came from the professional world and kept their services going in the classrooms. Unfortunately, they don't make such many professors, but thank you for doing this because it's important in the classrooms we have people coming from the practice. Of course, the new NEP does suggest something for the professors of practice, but you've been doing it long before I think the nation thought it was important. So thank you so much, and in honor to have you at the AMA as well, sir. So thank you. I think I'll leave the stage for both the gentlemen. We start with CA Pradeep Modi sir, and then we'll go to Dr. Suchak for his remarks. Meanwhile, have your questions ready. Towards the second part of the session, we will take the questions. So.
Thank you, Janil Bhai, Dr. Nilesh Sujak. my friends. Uh, Good evening, friends. This is a very dry subject. In fact, in this budget, there are hardly any provisions we have to discuss as far as the uh, exports and import business is concerned, international trade. But I try and innovated the things in a way whereby at least it should make it interesting to you, and you will take something away along with you while we conclude the lectures. So I have tried my level best to make it interesting, friends. There are hardly 6 paragraphs in total, which gives the outline about the international trade and exports promotions. And there are 4 5 provisions which has been relevant for us for a promotion of exports and international trade. But let me give you some perspective so that at least you will have the broader idea about the economy. Friends, as you know that the global gross domestic produce is estimated at $110 trillion globally. So size is very huge. What we are talking, our Prime Minister is talking, our goal, what we have set for 2025 or 26 is a 5 trillion economy. So you can imagine that it is 1/28 we are trying to achieve. So estimated economy, the size of the GDP across the globe is $110 trillion. And if you say $1 trillion is equal to how much? It is 86 lakhs crores. So you can imagine that our economy would be a 4 crore 33 lakhs crores by end of this year or next year. That is the size of our economy. Consider the budget propositions. We are talking very, very big figures. The size of our budget is about some 50,000 lakhs crores. So you can say that it is a 1/8 of our economy we are trying to put through budgetary proposals. And therefore, it becomes an imperative for us to understand that who are the other main contributors to the global economy. That is the most important part. And then we will come to the budget propositions, that who are other that the going to be benefited, and how the government is making a meticulous planning of the budgets. It is not that certain budgets which are making just like a pronunciations of some of the good important provisions or proposals in a budget. We normally find that this is what, like production linked insurance scheme, incentive schemes, PLI, government declares, we understand that these are the sectors are going to be benefited in a production. Some of the proposals related to a subsidy kind of things, again we understand it well. But this time the approach of the government is something different. And as you know that, friends, that the government has dismantled the planning commission and come out with the proposition of the Niti Aayog long back in 2015 January itself. So we need to understand how the government is functioning and what are the benefits they are trying to give you, not today immediately, but on a long term basis. So before that we venture into the proposals, I would give the couple of the glimpses of the international trade, which can give a visualization that how the global scenario in an economic world, because today is totally a economy, world economy is in a turmoil, and it's very difficult, totally uncertainty prevailing upon. Suppose today you say you want to exports to the European markets, you do not know today that in European markets which country is really a solvent or insolvent. It's very difficult to make predictions today, and your business need to be protected by some of the means, and that means could be a factoring the things in a rights perspective, making insurance of your business. But who are the players who will give you this? Because today in a uncertainty kind of things, if you do not understand that nuances of the proposals that government is trying to give, there is no direct benefit they are giving to you. But I will come to little later to explain you that where in a fine print it is written that government is trying to help you out. So as a businessman, you should take the benefit of those proposals and then approach to the concerned agencies for taking the benefit of it. So therefore, I would say that let us understand that who are the major 10 economies in the world. The first is definitely USA, friends. USA, the total GDP is almost 25 to 26 trillion dollar. So it is 5 times bigger than our economy. It is 5 times bigger than our economy. The next comes is China. It's about some 19.6 trillion dollar is their size of the economy. So it is a 4 times bigger than our economy. Then third comes the Germany. Germany, only these two are the topmost player in the economy, global producers of the various commodities and supplier of the services. The third comes is Germany. Germany is having about 5 trillion economy as on today, roughly. So that we would like to replace by India, because as on today, the Germany is at third place. The first is USA, second is China, third is Germany, and we would like to get it replaced by the India. And therefore, we are trying to achieve the total GDP more than $5 trillion, and then we would like to put it ourselves at the third place in the world in a global trade competitions. The fourth is Japan, friends. Japan is having a total size of the economy is $4.4 trillion. So it is also in a race of the achieving the targets, but unfortunately Japan is passing through a very tough time, and therefore the growth of the Japan is hardly envisages by 1% of the GDP, because they are passing through a very rough weather of the economy. There are a lot of other problems. There are one more important part of the geographical things in Japan is that it is divided in 4 different islands, the Japan, and therefore the integration of economy is slightly being challenged. As you know, it is a earth prone kind of things. Very frequently the earthquake is happening in that country. But despite all these odds, Japan is rapidly growing at fast pace in past, and now they are trying to match, but unfortunately their speed is not that they will be able to cross the 5 trillion in at least 1 or 2 years. Then fourth is Germany, which is having again about some 4.7%, 7 trillion. So these are the 4, and India at the 5th position, friends. It is 4.3 trillion as on today. The figure can vary. If you go to the website, you will find different figures of the GDP. We should not worry about a meticulous calculation, because the world is doing on a calendar basis. We are doing on the financial year basis, and therefore there are bound to be some mismatch. But broadly, the data which we have taken is from either the IMF or UN websites, so that gives a little more accuracy. Otherwise, you will find that India as on today 4.3, somebody is reporting at, let us say 4.1, somebody is reporting at 3.8. So different figures are coming, but India precisely as on today is at 4.3, and this year we will make some addition in GDP. As you know, friends, the GDP is nothing but the summation of the 4 important parts. The consumption by the people or spending by the people. How the GDP is calculated, friends, for our understanding. So GDP is calculated by having 4 components. The one is the consumption, private consumption by individuals and other corporates for the revenue purposes. The second is investment by the private sectors. That value is to be added, because is equal to a productions in a country. The third is the government spending on a projects like infrastructures or large projects, capital expenditures. And the fourth component is net of import and exports. So these are the 4 components are added to arrive at the GDP. So GDP is like, it is a composition of 4 different items. Now this GDP 4.3 as on today we are having it. We would like to reach to a comfortable positions. We will see that today, if you are witnessing the television, there is an agreement, mutual consensus entered between the India and USA. the latest news, the size of the business what has been envisaged by India and USA in next 5 years to reach at $500 billion. As on today, India and USA, the total volume of the business, import or exports, put together is $118 billion. So we are now almost taking another 500 times or 400 times rather you may say that the big jump with the USA. So there are big opportunity. What I mean to say is that there are big opportunity. We should concentrate on the India-USA trade developments. Try and read the things between the line as and when it is available, because it is a sure shot. There is an agreement, concession, and therefore all subsequent notification will follow, all other details circular will follow, how the government will boost this import and export activity with USA, maybe technical collaborations, maybe consumer goods, maybe defense, maybe so many other things. So therefore India-USA partnership is a crucial as far as we businessmen are concerned or researchers are concerned, and there is a big announcement, and that will give a big boost to the Indian economy over and above than the $5 trillion economy, because $118 billion is included as on today in our 4.3 trillion economy. So at least it will give a more boost, at least another corresponding figure. If there is a $500 billion to be added with USA in total, then definitely our economy will cross $7.5 to $8 trillion in coming days, another 4 to 5 years. So that is the most important. The sixth number is United Kingdom, UK. It has a economy size is $3.7 trillion. As you know, friends, UK is also finding it difficult now for a further development, because after having the Britain exit, so after having a Britain exit from the EU, now it's having a lot of challenges in terms of the revenue generation, in terms of the spending, in terms of the so many other social issues, and therefore Brexit is giving a big jolt. So therefore be careful while dealing with economic dealings with the UK, because the things are not as earlier smooth as it is, and therefore it is a 3.7 trillion economy. It has a lot of things to do with the UK, but we should be very careful. The next is France, $3.3 trillion economy, and Italy is having a 2.5 trillion economy, Canada 2.3 trillion economy, and Russia is 2.1 trillion economy. So these are the broad figures of 10 top economy in terms of the GDP. But when government is giving a impetus to the GDP, one should also keep in mind, as a government they are keeping in mind, that there should not be inflation in the market. Because if there is a deficit budget and borrowing is increased, then again the interest burden will increase. To serve that borrowings, you need to wipe out your revenue to cover up the interest part, and therefore the deficit budgeting is always been welcome, but higher deficit creating a more debt gives a more vulnerability to the economy, and therefore some of the glimpses of the economy I am just giving you what they are struggling, friends, in terms of the economic understanding. That US is having a total GDP is 25 to 26 trillion dollar. Their debt to GDP percentage is 121%. It means that US as on today is having a debt more than their GDP. So their borrowing is much more. What they are producing gross, over and above than 21% they have borrowed. Therefore they are running in a deficit economy. And deficit economy, as their own, you must have understood well, those who are quite elder and then having an idea about 2008, what has been happened with the Lehman Brothers. So this kind of the crisis also happening with China as on today. It is over leverage. When it is over leverage, you will have a lot of difficulties. They are printing the dollars day night, that is the soft currency available, and they are maintaining their economy. As on today, there is no PPP concept as such, the parity of the purchasing power. hardly it is been used. SDR is a out of date concept as on today in economy. So therefore, the debt which created by the Americans or American economy is very, very dangerous if it is not been managed properly in the coming years. But there is no other option as on today because the dollar becomes a global currency. Others have tried many to substitute the dollar currency. Cryptocurrency has already been there in a market as on today. The couple of other regional blocks have tried to develop their own currency, but finally it is dropped. For example, we tried with our own couple of the economy come together and then the rupee circulations and all, but finally it has not been succeeded to that extent really what it should be. And therefore, it's very difficult to substitute the dollar at this moment. China is also succumbed to that because the major reserve has been deployed by them in terms of the US bond only. And therefore, he will not be able to make an effort to upheaval the US economy. So, it is there, they are working together jointly on many projects, whether it is like or not, but this is the position. Similarly, the China is having a 15 to 16 trillion dollar economy. Their borrowings as on today, of course, whether it is very correctly reported or not, but it is 77% of GDP. They are having a debt, that is the debt percentage to the most vulnerable is Japan as on today, friends. Japan is having a 261% of their GDP. So almost 2.75 times then their GDP they have borrowed and they are running the economy. That's what I am saying you. They are struggling hard. They have grown fast. They have done a spectacular development in their country. But ultimately what happens to them is that they are not able to now garner further the economy in a way where really they want to. And therefore it's difficult and challenging to them. Germany is having a 66% comfortable positions. India, we have 83% of GDP as our debt. So we are now also reaching to the 100%, but 83 almost we are there from 79 to 83, 82. Just last couple of years we are not having a deficit kind of. So if you see that we have an act also in our country that our deficit should not in any case budgetary more than 4.5% or more than 5%. So whereby it has been put a curb by the parliamentary on a unplanned expenditures or borrowing economy whereby our country put to a difficulty. UK is having 101%, France 111%. So these are the couple of figures I would like to give an understanding that how the global market is being operated. The EXIM business, normally we are looking at that our export should be higher. Our export should be higher. And couple of data on EXIM trade, I just give it. US is having a EXIM trade in trillion is a $5 trillion. So out of their economy, they are doing the import and export of $5 trillion. Similarly, China is having a $6 trillion, Japan 2, Germany 4, India 1.63. India is doing a 1.63, that is some $700 billion is my exports and $800 billion is my imports. So there is a deficit, trade deficit, because I am exporting less and importing more. But because of the crude exports, recently what has been happened because of the Russian war, the Prime Minister Modi ji has now tried to manage and leverage the economy of exports by getting imported the crude, making little value addition and supplying the same crude to the world. So that's why the export has been increased, value addition has been done and we earn some surplus. Recently the BBC has taken one interview with the Hardeep Singh Puri, you know that he is a petroleum minister, and very boldly and openly said that BBC was trying to dose the Indian economy, say that in spite of the war between the Russia and Ukraine you are supporting and then you are trying to take the leverages of this. He categorically said that Russia economy has not been banned globally to deal for a crude oil, number one, and number two, it is in my interest of the country, I should import the fuel as much as I need and then I should do the trade, whatever beneficial to my country. So nobody can stop me for this matter. And therefore they said that my total requirement, you see that friends, the requirement of the Indian energy sectors for the crude oil is about some 5.5 million, 5.5 million barrels. And we are much more importing more than that. We are buying much more. The US has put one condition very smartly. They said that as much as you buy from Russia, you buy from me. So ultimately, it is boiling down to the business. US is boiling down to the business. If you buy from Russia, you buy from me. I don't mind whatever you do. I don't care. You earn money whatever you want. And ultimately, the Hardeep Singh said very categorically said that if I would not have purchased the oil of 13 million barrels per day, which is my requirement, and that I have not imported my requirement and supplied to the global, the European market would have a very difficult time to pass through because there will be energy crisis and the price of the barrel could have been crossed $200. So he says that in the interest of my country as well as in the interest of the world, I am doing it. So this is what the EXIM trade, the trade is happening like this. It is not that only the export is always been giving a good backup to you. Such a big country where you may say US is 25 trillion, but there you see that EXIM, the total import and export is 5 trillion only. So the role of the export is definitely one should accept it, the importance of that, the exports, and import should be reduced or substitute of the import need to be done. But it is not that only that is the only backbone for the economy. So many other factors are there for the economy and we should concentrate. So international trade is happening like that, friends. One more indicators I would like to give you is related to that the total trade is to be done with our 10 top partners. Our 10 top partners, India versus the world countries. So we are doing a trade with the USA for $118 trillion, I say billion dollars, I just now said. And my trade balance is surplus. This is the only country where I have the surplus. And that surplus is 24 trillion. That surplus is 24 billion. That is the benefit of this. China, total my import is much more. I am doing a trade of $104 billion. I have the trade balance minus 77 billion. So for all other countries like UAE minus 20, Saudi 28, Russia 38, with all other countries, my import is much more higher than the exports. So there are full potentials of doing the business with other countries where we should find some opportunity and do the business with them. These are the countries where they are the 10 partners: Indonesia, Iraq, Singapore, Hong Kong and South Korea. South Korea, the interesting story is that the GDP of that country has been grown exponentially in the last 4 decades at the rate of the 10%. 10% GDP has been grown at 10% substantially for almost 2 decades. And therefore the South Korea is there in the market, and South Korea, more particularly automobiles, electronics, all these are the items they are exporting on large scales. But their model is MSME again. Our model is also MSME. Their MSME now become the global giant. Their MSME now become a global giant. You take a Hyundai or so many other companies. So their MSME now become a giant. We can also make a boost to the country's MSME and we can grow substantially, friends. Now in this budget, friends, there are 4 to 5 major the announcement or proposal has been made. I will come to that and give the ideas about how to go about understanding these particular proposals. There are few paragraphs, friend, in a speech of the Sitaraman. I think that some para number 89 onwards, 86 onwards, 86 to 92 of budget speech. There are 5-6 paragraphs where she said that export is a 4th engine export promotion mission. So they believe that export is definitely a growth engine for this country. She has given a different paragraphs, and I will like to give an understanding on that how to read this particular things. In paragraph 5 lines she has given, but when we are listening proposal and not be galla gulla in a market, we do not understand what is the implication of this, friends. She has said that there will be a 2250 crores allocations for the purpose of the promotion mission. Export promotion mission, 2250 crores she has allocated. Now what is the meaning of this particular mission? Only 2250 crores. Friends, as you know that the US economy has been developed, and the first and foremost work has been done by the Roosevelt in his tenure is that he has developed the infrastructures across length and breadth of USA. If you see the Korea, they have done the infrastructures development. If you see the Japan, they have done the. So apart from the infrastructures, the Export Promotion Council, they are trying to give the platform to the exporters. They are creating one platform for the purpose of the factoring, and easy finance to the exporter. Their job is to give a platform to the various exporters. They will get a competitive rate finance by creating this platform. They will invite not only the Indian finance companies or financial sectors institutions, but also globally for the purpose of the competitive rate of the finance by creating these infrastructures. So factoring will be done by them. Today, if you are doing a business, there are few companies or few institutions, they are giving the factoring facility for the exports. One of them is a Exim Bank. They are largely, or SBI, they are giving the factoring facility. But others are not taking that risk because they don't have the global presence. And because of the non-global presence, they are not able to give you the competitive rate of the finance. These institutions will create, you know, that 59 minutes loan. If you have just visited that portal for domestic market, almost so many banks are associated with them. They are offering, if you put your requirements, any bank will come to you, or you can go to the bank, give your proposal, they will sanction. So similar to that, there is no portal available for the exports, for factoring and export finance. So this will work for the purpose of the development of the export sectors by putting this particular facility, which is called a export promotion mission, to enhance the cross-border factoring activities and the financing. The one more important part is, friends, it is a Bharat Trade Net. If you read that word in a newspaper also, or in a budget, the proposal also, Bharat Trade Net. What is this Bharat Trade Net? Friends, as you know, as on today, the Modi government has done one excellent things which we never noticed. Like suppose FASTag, we are aware that when we are passing on a highway, our money is automatically debited to this. This is a part of the mission, and that mission is created by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog has come in pictures in 2015, and the chairperson of the Niti Aayog is the Prime Minister of this country. The Niti Aayog has also announced one more ambitious projects, that Gati Shakti projects. Gati Shakti project means it is at length and breadth of all the ministry, all the users of the various infrastructures on digital platform. It has been well connected. As on today, as a part of this, the logistic hub has also been now taken a shape. And therefore, if you want to use the data for your business purpose, it is worthwhile to visit this portal. You see that what are the commodities, where it exports, what is the shipment, when it will come. So MSME, it is very difficult to make a use of this. But large business houses or medium-sized businesses, those having somebody who can put on their time, they will definitely be benefited, because it is more than 13 ministries are internally connected, like any customs, any excise, GST, then logistic port, all these are interconnected on this portal, and data is being swiftly exchanged as and when your export is happening, as and when import is happening, when your goods are e-bill, e-way bill, when you are seeing that, it is a part of that exercise only. It is a part of that. So this portal will give you the idea that how to connect with each other, and very swiftly you can make a use of your inventory control. Suppose as on today, like for example, the oil companies are using this portal extensively. Which ships are coming, what is the quantity of that ships, because everything has to be uploaded by the custom department, and that custom department data will go to the actual users if they access it. There is a railway rack. So transportation, what is happening with transportations, you will be able to. So this is the big task. We do not understand while reading this paragraph, simple paragraph in a proposal. My suggestion is that we will make a suggestion to the government. What infrastructures you have developed today, almost you will get the details of as much as 1800 field, 1800 field. If you put any one field, you will get the data related to, you will get the name of the company also. Suppose I am XYZ company, I am importing, so my SIN number will be there. If I put a SIN number, I will be able to see that which company has imported what quantity of. So that much data is available. This is Bharat TradeNet, is a complementary to the United Logistic Interface ULIPS. So Logistic is a platform that is the Unified Logistic Interface. Now it's been used along with the Bharat TradeNet. Both will be coming together and they will create the wonderful journey for the businessman in the coming days. There are more than 37 systems and about more than 118 API is working on that. API in the sense that it is a application program indicators. So one program, if somebody is using, you can adapt that programs, you can get the data, whatever program they are using. So that interface has been provided by this, and government is putting a lot of money in this. And this will help you, not today, but in a long run, 1-2 years, you will have the huge amount of the data available to you, and you can make a use of it, and you can do the business very well. Last, friends, is the duty reforms. They have done couple of things where duty has been cut down for the incentive purpose. The sector specific couple of things are there because MSME is contributing 45% of the total exports output. So they have given an enhancement in a credit facility from 5 crores to 10 crores. The definition of MSME has also been now redefined. Instead of 1 crore, now the small is to be considered as 2.5 crores and the turnover is considered from 10 crores onwards. So definition has been changed. This benefit can be availed from 5 crores to 10 crores. Then the other part is that from 25 crores to the turnover respectively also been increased 100 crores. So these are the benefits given by changing the definition of the MSME. And R&D they put at 20,000 crores. Unfortunately, this is only the complaint you can make to the government that only 20,000 crores allocation has been made by the government for R&D. All other countries, if you take like South Korea, if you take even Japan, you take the Spain also, there are various countries which are making a allocation of 1 to 2% of their GDP. Their GDP, 1 to 2% of their GDP, bare minimum, for the purpose of the certain essential innovation, and company also, private company also participate. So combined together with the government and the private sector, about 8% money goes in innovation. You see that as on today, the private sectors, what is miracle happening in USA, in California, AI based, almost all the industries are now developing at fast pace. They are putting a lot of money in innovation, but unfortunately government has their own constraint, and therefore this is only a 20,000 crores. It has been put it in this particular basket for the development of this country in an economic benefit. But if that can be done, their idea is that at least $1 trillion business of merchandise of exports will be possible by putting this 20,000. They say that if I put a money in a innovation and infrastructure in the sense that it is road and other things, apart from digital infrastructures, they have the calculation that the GDP, if you spend a 1 rupee, the GDP will increase to 2.5 to 3.5 rupees. So that is the multiplier. This is the multiplier, the infrastructures and this R&D. If you put more money, it will multiply by 2.5 to 3.5 multipliers. So that is the result will come, friends. With this, I overshoot my time by another 5-7 minutes, friends. But I thought that let me give a little more understanding on the subject, because there are hardly any proposal, but to give a nuances of the proposal and the global view of the economy, I thought that I have tried my level best. Thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this is where experience matters, where you don't see directly a lot of provisions, but how do you make sense of the data, numbers, lot of facilities in terms of digital portals and assets being created. Suchak sir, looking forward to your insights and remarks before we have some questions.
ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा. My dear brothers and sisters, Mr. Pradeep Modi has given you a nice overview, a little detailed one also, on implications of Union Budget 2025-26 for exports and international trade. So, I have not to add much to what he has said, but I'll quickly tell you my view on what is the future of India. We are fortunate that we have got a wonderful team of politicians who are at the helm of affairs of our country today, be it our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, or our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharamanji, or our External Affairs Minister, or any other minister for that matter. And we are proud that we have got a Prime Minister who has got a vision for betterment of not only our country, India, but a vision for betterment of the whole world. And I have been observing since he became the Chief Minister in 2001 here in Gujarat, almost about 13 years he worked here. 10 plus years he has worked at the central level, and I have not seen him in any time, any moment of the time, in a pessimistic mode. Is always positive. This is what is to be learned from him, and his positivity has paid in terms of the growth. Today in difficult times also, our India's GDP is growing very fast at a very comfortable level. India's financial position, if you look at, there is no default of any of the stockbroker. But I have seen before some 30-40 years, there were so many times in the year or maybe in 10 years, there were Harshad Mehta scam or the other scam. But then there are no scams. There are no defaults by the banks also. He has taken care to see. It is not that there is no default by the borrowers. The borrowers do fail. The ups and downs is a part of the life. But in such ups and downs, how to balance ourselves is what is to be learned from Mr. Narendra Modi. And therefore, when he says 5 trillion, he dreams big. And it's not only daydreaming which cannot be achieved. He delivers what he promises. And if you can achieve little less, doesn't matter, no? Nishan chuk maaf, nahi nichu nishan. So therefore, enormous opportunities are there, as Mr. Pradeep Modi said, in export as well as the international trade. Don't think that we need some incentives only. You will have to be competitive. I have seen today our TCS, our Tech Mahindra, our HCL Infotech, Infosys. What kind of exports are they doing? Enormous. They are world leaders. So why can't we also do it? We should also dream of value addition. Till now, or maybe for last out of the 70 years, for about 50, 60 years, what we have done is, we have not been doing value addition. I'll give you one example. We are exporting, suppose, 20 containers of onion. Each container, I have seen one time we were selling our onion at 2 rupees a kilogram. 2 rupees a kilogram is one container of 20 feet container. We were exporting at 40,000 rupees. That was also, I have seen FOB Mumbai, Jawar, JNPT, FOB Kandla, Mundra, etc. 40,000 rupees one container. And how much time, efforts, energy it takes to export one container? And if I export 20 containers, whatever money I am getting, 40,000 rupees a container, 20 containers. And look at the time and energy that our farmer puts forward. And what are we importing against that? In one small little box, 40 containers or 20 containers of 20,000 kilograms each. And we are getting hearing aids, small little hearing aid, 40,000 rupees. In one box, 20 hearing aids. Now compare your one box of 20 hearing aids, the value is same as 20 containers of onion that you've been exporting. Now, Mr. Modi has got a vision, make in India. You come here, manufacture, and he also is, promoting these startups. He is promoting innovation. He is promoting registration of the patent, trademark. Do R&D. And the government is giving all kind of support also. Even without this support, the great work that he is doing is, of telling all of us that there is something within you, there is a power within you. Don't limit yourself to exporting 20 containers of onion. Start making hearing aids also. Or now India has become the mobile exporter also. As far as the budgetary provisions are concerned, there are only few. One, so far as the customs law amendment is concerned, earlier there was no time limit for completion of the provisional assessment under customs law. Now they have introduced a time limit of 2 years, which can be extended by a period of 1 year, but there is a time limit, so ease of doing. Otherwise, for 5 years, 6 years, the officers were not deciding the final assessment, and you were under tension, stress, etc. So reduce that. They prescribe the time limit. Number one. Number two, there is no provision for amendment of the bill of entry when you are importing. Now they have brought a provision that you can amend the bill of entry within a period of 1 year, and then if you paid excess amount of duty, you can claim it. Of course, there is a limitation period of 1 year within which you can claim the refund if you paid excess duty. This where and the settlement commission has been done away with. Instead, the interim board would be there, which will take case of the settlement of the cases relating to customs, excise, service tax, etc. I would leave more times for question and answer instead of now telling you anything, because Mr. Modi has given you a wonderful idea about what is the vision of this country, and each one of us, we must focus on what can I contribute. Let me tell you, friends, those who are the entrepreneurs who are exporting and importing the goods, etc., they are not only generating revenue or the profit for themselves, they are giving a lot of employment. They are giving a lot of help to the country in terms of paying taxes also, generating revenue of tax also. So they are the contributors to the growth of the country, and the environment is such where everything is positive today, and we also must think of contributing to our economy by our hard work, by our innovation, by our efforts, by our good wishes for the development of one and all. With this, I conclude my remarks, and I would look forward to your questions, if any, or the moderator's questions. Thank you.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for that spirited talk, how the national leadership is also pushing the cause of business and exports in particular. I'll start with maybe one question, and then if we have questions in the chits with us, or are they going to ask us? Okay, this is the feedback from I understand. Okay, sure. Yeah, sir. We have a question. Ajay, एक minute. Yeah, sorry.
Talking of borrowing by the government, US government, that is 121% of the GDP. How much is the domestic borrowing and how much is the external borrowing? That is government borrowing. And similarly for other countries.
So, do you have numbers on hand? Or?
Numbers is not ready, but
Okay.
that is available on our website. Unfortunately, I have not the numbers right now, but it is available on a website of what. It is available, the bifurcation is available on the website, so if you can visit, you will get the numbers of private borrowing is the external.
Okay, that part is okay, but what matters most is the bond.
Ah,
If the domestic borrowing, it is entirely domestic borrowing, it doesn't matter.
correct,
One pocket to the other.
Correct.
Transferring and country is not damaged.
correct,
If it is external borrowing, then in case of US, it is keeping high inflation. That way diluting dollar, that is currency of pounding, the debt, etc. So that way it is paying off the debt of the world, rather making them fools. When they gave the money, it was much more valuable. When we will be taking it back, it is much less valuable.
correct.
So that way US is fooling everybody.
I do not remember the figure, but I have read the contents that it's a private borrowings within the country itself. They print the dollars by giving to the Fed that you issue this bond, we will borrow that money, and then we will put it in a circulation. So that gives a very, it's a teaming and leading kind of things. That borrowing the money within the circulate for the purpose of the circulations of the money. So you never know that what is your capacity to pay it, because it is not backed by any real currency or any gold or any kind of the things which where the earlier the IMF has come out with that. But 1971, the dollar printing episode, that is the petrodollar, that has given the boost to the economy, and that now they are more. It's a easy money printing kind of things is going on. So similar things are with the UK also. UK also they are printing similar way of the pound and sterling. So their position is also a little more precarious. They are having 101% of their GDP. They are also doing the easy money printing, and because see what happens, like suppose today we do not have the money, how the economy works. If we do not have the money, what we will do is that we will say to the RBI that you issue the bond, we will give the undertaking to repay that, and you collect the money from the market, and money will come in the pocket of the RBI. That money will give by RBI to the government. They will use that money, and spending repayment will happen what time we do not know, because that money has already been now spent by the government. So when money is due, the RBI is supposed to make the payment. Then government has to make the payment to the RBI because money has been borrowed through that assurance. So they will again print that and then give it money to them. So this is what the vicious circle is going on in foreign countries.
This I understand, but why China is depositing its own money in US and getting
I-
less while it is,
I will give
that
you,
is the question. China is so
correct,
smart.
correct. You are
And
very,
US is fooling it
correct,
all the way down,
Correct.
down the line.
correct.
So that is the good part.
Correct. So China imitate the USA, but in the first go when there was no other option, because if you earn the money, you need to put somewhere. China's GDP was much more fast growing at the pace of 9%, and the economy is very huge. Their profit is also very huge. They have to put in somewhere money. So there is no option, therefore they put it in a US bond.
And that way exploding more.
Correct.
All right. Any other questions or? All right, sir. I just want to ask you maybe a basic question which might, matter to some of our online viewers and some of those sitting here. What are some of the sunrise sectors? I mean, that you see has an export opportunity? Sectors that government wishes the private enterprise comes forwards for, or sectors you think will have a good future in the Western markets or maybe anywhere else in the world?
In my humble submission, I would say that the energy sector is having a lot of potentials, like the solar power. Today, as on today, the China is the major supplier of this particular products of solar panels and all. So that is the very giving a the rising sectors, you may say, there are a lot of potentials. Then the green energy sectors, that also green hydrogen. Of course, the giant of our country, Reliance, is putting a huge money in that. About more than some 3 lakh crores. That is what I heard, that they are putting in green hydrogen projects kind of things for a clean energy. You know, the friends, as on today, the kind of the restrictions on a non-tariff basis has been put by the European countries on this kind of things. That's why I am more bullish on that. Because see, as on today, if you want to export to the Europe, what they have done, that they have put a CBAM kind of a restrictions, which may be a new word for you out of maybe few not knowing that, because this is the restrictions or kind of the incremental cost in your exports or reducing your margins. Because when you export, for example, you export the aluminium products from this country or the steel products from this country, and it is manufactured with the help of the coal sectors, coal energy, then what they are doing, that you have to give the certificate of origin and also the other details in a where this has been manufactured. And if it is not been manufactured with the help of the clean energy, what they have done is fine, whatever they have done in the last 30, 40, 50, 100 years. But today they are putting that if you produce with the help of the coal, then you have to go and buy the certificates of that country which are engaging themselves in a clean energy. So somebody put a farm, let us say wind farm or the solar in their country, they will get a certificate. That is the carbon certificate. And that carbon certificate you have to buy, you have to spend that money and give to the importer of that country. Now, I'm compensating that I have polluted this, but I buy this and you have to take my goods. So this is what the mechanism. Therefore, this is the opportunity you have to do the clean energy kind of thing, clean tech kind of things here in this country. Similar regulation has also been put in the other parts of the world. Is called a deforestation. EUDR kind of a the regulations. That is the European deforestation regulations, which is called just like CBAM. So they again promote these deforestations. What they are cutting down the trees, what they are doing for their development, it's now gone history. But for you that you are not having this kind of deforestations as per the requirements what they laid down, then you have to buy those certificates. So it's ultimately gimmicks of buying the certificates for their benefits. They want a product. They are not able to survive without that products. But you also have the kind of a compulsion to buy that, otherwise your product will not be exported. So that's why this is one of the sectors where the second is the kind of a semiconductor kind of a industries. You know that the micron industry is coming here in a huge way. Government is also promoting. So that is also a very upcoming kind of a industry in this country. So these are the two sectors at present in my mind immediately come that yeah, it's a good potentials.
Correct. Also, since we have a unit in Sanand and Micron is there, we have told for those interested, DST, Department of Science and Technology, they've identified certain sectors which will be feeding the semiconductor industry. So let's say, I mean, you know, when Tata Nano came here for the beginners, they needed 1000 other ancillary services where the MSMEs actually come and play a part. So the whole point is that for semiconductors, DST, Department of Science and Technology, has come up with various project sizes, ticket size ranging from investments of 50 crores to 500 crores, where they see that these are the kind of agencies that semiconductor large companies like Micron, CG Power will need as they attempt to establish themselves here. So this is one place we can certainly look at. Suchak sir, for you, I have a question. You mentioned TCSs and the Infosys of the world.
Yeah.
Service sector, I think, is one important contributor to our exports and our knowledge capital, our manpower, the labor arbitrage, everything that you've seen. Especially, you also come with a background of accounting. There's a lot of knowledge processing services that India has been giving to the world at large. US outsourcing in UK. Do you see that also happening? Otherwise, or else a lot of large US based CPA firms are now coming here and establishing themselves.
No, in fact, the Indian firms also are doing wonderful job so far as the outsourcing business is concerned. And I tell you, we have got so many firms here. I am with the RJ Tibral Commerce College, where constantly we are getting inquiries from all these outsourcing firms. They're doing US accounting, US taxation, UK accounting, UK taxation, Australia, and so many other countries work they are doing, and they are in constant requirement of the people. We are not able to give them the people that they need. The kind of demand that is coming forward, out of 600 students that we have passing BCom, if I send them notice, only 20 are coming forward. The reason is, majority of our students are doing CA, CS or some other professional course, or they're preparing for UPSC, GPSC, etc. Therefore, they are not interested. But the point is, any student who is going almost, they are giving training also for 3 months and they get absorbed. Initially, the last mail that I have got is they're giving 22,500 rupees salary. For beginners is a very good salary.
Saturday, Sunday off.
Fresh,
And
Saturday, yeah,
Saturday,
5 days
Sunday
week. And that is fresher who come from the college, they don't have anything, any knowledge about what is happening in the industry actually, but they train them, and during training also they pay them stipend. So there is enormous opportunity. You rightly said, manpower. We have got huge manpower with us. So skill development is another area where government is focusing on, and if those skills are developed, our people would do wonders.
Some statistics I would like to give to support the Suchak sir's the idea. See, I have come across that about some total 55% is the contribution of the service sectors for our exports, 55%. And if you see the global pictures, India is 4.3% contributors to the global service exports. So total market whereby the India is contributing 4.3%, that is the service sectors. As on today, our giant Infosys and the TCS put together more than 1 million people are serving outside. More than 1 million outside. India, we have now announced one more important things. If you are aware that, friends, it is a global compatibility capability centers. So global capability centers policy has been come out by the government, and recently the IFSC, that is the International Financial Services Center in GIFT City, they come out with the broad regulations for GCC. They announce a lot of incentives for GCC. They have to feed these services to their global centers. So there is a huge opportunities in this space. The largest contributor in service sector is again USA, friends. They are in the financial sectors and other the pharmaceutical aid services. They are 30% the contributor of the global services. UK 7.4%, Germany 5.5%, and China and France 5%. They are the global service sectors contributors. We are standing at the 7th rank with 4.3%.
Wonderful. So I think we have a long way to go even in the services sector for sure. And then one important point that Modi sir mentioned is the R&D. I think government needs to certainly spruce up the R&D funding. Otherwise, what Suchak sir was trying to say, we'll only end up exporting the onions and importing the hearing aids, what possibly the same amount of 20 containers in one box. So, but I think it has been an insightful session. I'll have to stop here at 7:30. We've crossed the limit. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in at AMA. Our idea is to keep doing such events for the benefit. If you have questions and if the experts are around, feel free to hang in for a bit. But thank you so much once again, and we look forward to having you again. And
Thank
again.
you. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you.